The Amish are known for their self-sufficient lifestyle, which includes innovative and time-tested ways to prepare, preserve, and enjoy food. These 30 practical tips can transform your kitchen habits, and you'll wonder why you didn't learn them sooner. When it comes to unlocking the full potential of herbs and spices, the Amish turn to a traditional tool, the mortar and pestle. However, before you start, you need to prepare it correctly. Begin by placing some white rice and coarse sea salt into the bowl and grinding them together until the mixture comes out clean. Repeat the process with fresh ingredients and add a small amount of water if necessary. Once cured, your mortar and pestle will become your go-to tool for grinding. Hold the pestle in your dominant hand and use steady circular motions to release essential oils from your ingredients. This ancient technique delivers unmatched freshness and vibrancy in flavor that electric grinders simply can't replicate. Sometimes the simplest tools are truly the best. Ever wondered if those eggs in your fridge are still good? The Amish use a simple water test that takes less than a minute. Fill a bowl with cold water and gently place the eggs inside. Fresh eggs will sink to the bottom and lie flat, while older ones will float or stand upright. This method works because aging eggs develop a larger air pocket, increasing buoyancy. No gadgets required, just a bowl of water and a keen eye to keep your breakfast fresh and safe. Tired of wilted herbs? The Amish have a brilliant solution. Treat herbs like flowers. Trim the stems, place them in a glass of water, and loosely cover them with a plastic bag. This creates a mini greenhouse, maintaining humidity and keeping herbs fresh for days longer. Change the water every couple of days and remove any wilted stems to keep your herbs thriving. This easy trick works especially well for parsley, cilantro, and basil, saving you money while ensuring you always have fresh herbs on hand. Freshly baked cookies lose their magic quickly when stored poorly, but the Amish have a simple fix. Line the bottom of an airtight container with tissue paper, then layer your cookies on top. Add another sheet of tissue paper between each layer. The tissue paper absorbs excess moisture, preserving the cookie's crisp texture for days. This affordable trick keeps your baked goods tasting like they just came out of the oven. If your coffee tastes too bitter to enjoy, don't toss it out. The Amish use a clever trick. Add a tiny pinch of salt. This neutralizes the bitter compounds, improving the flavor of both hand-brewed and machine-made coffee. Be careful not to overdo it. A little goes a long way. Stir well, and you'll rescue your coffee from bitterness without fancy fixes. Transform tough cuts of meat into tender, flavorful dishes with an Amish marinade. Combine equal parts vinegar and broth to create a simple, effective solution. Let your meat soak in the mixture before cooking, and you'll be amazed at the results. This technique breaks down the fibers in the meat, making it tender and delicious, perfect for hearty, satisfying meals. These Amish-inspired tips are practical, sustainable, and incredibly effective. Incorporate them into your cooking routine and enjoy the benefits of generations-old wisdom in your modern kitchen. The Amish have mastered the art of making the most out of every ingredient, relying on traditional methods passed down through generations. Here are some of their time-tested tricks that can elevate your cooking skills. Whether you're dealing with a stubborn brisket, a challenging pork shoulder, or a tough chuck roast, the Amish have a foolproof solution: a marinade of vinegar and broth. The acidic vinegar acts as a natural tenderizer, breaking down tough fibers, while the broth infuses moisture and flavor. Place your meat in a bowl or resealable bag, fully submerged in this magical mixture. Let it marinate in the fridge. Overnight is ideal, but a few hours will suffice. The Amish often use root cellars for this process. When you're ready to cook, you'll be amazed at how tender and flavorful the once tough cut has become. Cutting onions can turn any kitchen into a tearful scene, but the Amish have a smart way to minimize the tears. Start by chopping off the root end and peeling away the skin. Then, instead of chopping randomly, slice the onion lengthwise from root to tip. This technique keeps more of the root system intact, reducing the release of tear-inducing compounds. For an extra tip, Chill the onion before slicing. While modern cooks use refrigerators, the Amish traditionally store their onions in cool root cellars. This approach won't eliminate all tears, but it makes the process far more bearable. Peeling hard-boiled eggs shouldn't be a struggle. The Amish solve this common issue with a two-step trick: salt and cold water. Begin by adding eggs only after the water is boiling to prevent cracks. Once cooked, transfer them to a bowl of cold water with a generous teaspoon of salt. The salt helps the egg whites shrink slightly, creating a gap between the egg and the shell. After a few minutes, gently tap the egg on a hard surface, and the shell will peel away effortlessly. This simple trick saves time and frustration while ensuring perfectly peeled eggs every time. One hallmark of Amish cooking is patience, especially with soups and stews. Instead of boiling these dishes aggressively, they prefer a gentle simmer. High heat can toughen meat and turn vegetables into mush, but slow cooking allows flavors to develop naturally and keeps ingredients tender. While simmering, skim any foam or impurities from the surface to maintain a clear broth. Let it cook low and slow for hours, and you'll end up with a rich, flavorful result that's well worth the wait. Tomato-based dishes sometimes come with an unpleasantly sharp, acidic taste. The Amish have a simple remedy: add a pinch of sugar. This small addition balances the acidity, smoothing out the flavor profile of your sauces, stews, or chili. For an even richer result, pair the sugar with a small pat of butter. This combination not only neutralizes acidity, but also adds a luxurious depth to your dish, a trick that has been a staple in Amish kitchens for generations. With these Amish-inspired techniques, you'll bring both tradition and practicality to your cooking. Try them out and experience the charm of time-honored wisdom in your own kitchen. From adding incredible flavors to simplifying meal prep, these traditional Amish kitchen secrets prove that simple, practical techniques stand the test of time. Balancing acidity in tomato-based recipes is easy with this Amish trick. A small pinch of sugar. Start small and taste as you go. You're aiming for balance, not sweetness. This practical tip works wonders for everything from hearty pasta sauces to rustic tomato soups. It's a perfect example of how Amish cooking blends simplicity with effectiveness for delicious results. Ever wonder what gives Amish dishes their rich, savory depth? The answer lies in saved bacon grease, a treasured resource in their kitchens. After frying bacon, let the grease cool slightly and store it in a clean jar. Modern cooks refrigerate it, but the Amish often keep it in a cool, accessible spot. Use bacon grease to fry eggs to perfection, give potatoes a golden, crispy finish, or elevate cornbread by greasing the skillet with this flavorful fat. A little goes a long way, adding a smoky, rich touch to any dish. This frugal and flavorful practice has made bacon grease a must-have in Amish kitchens. Fresh greens can wilt quickly, but the Amish have a simple solution to keep them vibrant. After washing and drying your lettuce or herbs, place them in an airtight container. Cover them with a damp paper towel to maintain just the right humidity. This method creates an ideal microenvironment, keeping greens crisp without turning them soggy. Change the paper towel every few days to ensure freshness. Whether you're storing delicate lettuce or hardy herbs, this straightforward trick works like a charm. For the fluffiest scrambled eggs you've ever had, take a tip from Amish kitchens. Whisk in a spoonful of mayonnaise. This addition might sound unconventional, but it creates eggs so velvety and rich, you'll feel like you're enjoying a gourmet breakfast. The fat in mayonnaise keeps the eggs moist, while adding a luxurious creaminess that butter alone can't achieve. Just whisk the mayo into your beaten eggs and cook as usual. The result? Light, fluffy eggs that are sure to impress at any breakfast table. Take your baked goods to the next level with this clever Amish baking trick. Use sugar instead of flour to coat your pans. After greasing the pan, dust it with sugar and tap out the excess. As your treats bake, the sugar melts into a crispy, caramelized crust that adds texture and flavor. This technique is perfect for cakes, sweetbreads, and cookies, leaving no chalky residue like flour sometimes does. The result? Beautifully golden, slightly crunchy edges that elevate every bite. The secret to the deep aromatic flavors in Amish dishes often lies in their spice preparation. Before adding spices to a dish, give them a quick toast in a dry pan. Gently heat whole or ground spices for a minute or two, stirring constantly to prevent burning. The heat releases essential oils, intensifying their flavor and aroma. Whether it's cinnamon, cumin, or nutmeg, this simple step turns ordinary recipes into extraordinary meals. While not a traditional Amish trick, some have embraced this modern method for keeping burgers juicy. Place a small ice cube in the center of each patty before grilling. As the ice melts, it adds moisture to the meat, preventing dryness and creating perfectly juicy burgers every time. It's a small adjustment with big rewards, perfect for cooks looking to try something new. These timeless and practical techniques showcase the genius of Amish culinary wisdom. From resourceful methods to unexpected twists, they prove that great cooking doesn't have to be complicated. Try these tips and transform your kitchen into a haven of simple, delicious creativity. When shaping burger patties, try this genius trick. Press a small ice cube into the center of each patty. As the burger cooks, the ice cube gradually melts, releasing moisture that keeps the meat incredibly juicy. Think of it as a built-in hydration system for your burger. Worried about a mess on the grill? Don't be. The ice cube disappears completely by the time the burger is ready. The result? Perfectly moist burgers that rival restaurant-quality creations, leaving behind no trace of the dreaded dry hockey puck patties. Your secret weapon? Simple frozen water. Elevate your potato salad with an unexpected ingredient, pickle juice. Instead of tossing out the brine when the jar is empty, save it for your next batch of potato salad. Add a small splash to the mix, adjusting to taste. The tangy, salty brine adds a zesty brightness that cuts through the creaminess of the mayonnaise, balancing the flavors beautifully. This time-tested trick, often used in Amish kitchens, transforms a basic dish into a picnic showstopper. Just a little splash is all it takes to make your potato salad unforgettable. Taming the sharpness of raw onions is easy with this simple technique, a cold water soak. After slicing the onions, submerge them in a bowl of cold water for about 10 minutes. This method, cherished in Amish households, mellows the onions by drawing out the harsh sulfur compounds that cause their strong bite. The result is a milder, more pleasant flavor that's perfect for salads, sandwiches, and fresh salsas. Best of all, the onions maintain their satisfying crunch while blending harmoniously with other ingredients. Achieving a tender, flaky pie crust is easier than you think. Just replace part of the water in your dough recipe with vodka. This clever trick, embraced by some Amish bakers, prevents gluten formation since vodka doesn't react with flour like water does. The alcohol evaporates during baking, leaving behind an incredibly tender and flaky crust. Your pie won't taste like vodka, but it will have layers so light and crisp they'll seem almost magical. When someone asks for your secret, just smile and say it's a family tradition. Transform your mashed potatoes into a luxurious side dish with this Amish-inspired tip. Stir in a fresh egg yolk while the potatoes are still hot. The residual heat gently cooks the yolk, adding a rich, velvety texture that's hard to beat. This trick not only enhances creaminess, but also creates a silky consistency that elevates the humble potato to gourmet status. The next time you serve mashed potatoes, prepare for compliments, and maybe even a few recipe requests. Digesting beans doesn't have to be uncomfortable. The solution? A splash of apple cider vinegar. Adding a tablespoon or two to your cooking pot helps break down the compounds responsible for bloating and enhances the beans' natural flavor. This Amish favorite combines practicality and flavor enhancement. The vinegar adds a subtle tang, creating a well-rounded dish that's easier on your stomach. Whether it's navy beans, chili, or a hearty stew, this simple addition works wonders. The secret to golden pancakes with crispy edges lies in the cookware. A well-seasoned cast-iron skillet is a pancake-making powerhouse. Its even heat distribution ensures consistent cooking, resulting in perfectly browned pancakes every time. Heat the skillet thoroughly before adding a touch of butter or oil. Many experienced cooks swear by their well-maintained cast iron, which often requires minimal greasing. With this timeless tool, your pancakes will have that classic golden crust and fluffy center that everyone loves. Want pancakes with crispy edges and a fluffy interior? A cast iron skillet is the answer. Thanks to its even heat distribution, it creates the perfect balance between a golden, crispy exterior and a tender, airy center. The subtle rustic flavor imparted by cast iron is unmatched, making it a staple in Amish kitchens, where these pans are treasured family heirlooms. To get the best results, maintain a steady heat and keep your skillet well seasoned. Your breakfast and your taste buds will thank you. Capture the taste of summer all year with home canning, a tradition perfected by Amish families. It starts with spotless jars and the freshest produce. Carefully pack your fruits or vegetables into sterilized jars, leaving just the right amount of headspace, a critical step for proper preservation. Whether using a water bath for high-acid foods like tomatoes or a pressure canner for low-acid vegetables like green beans, precise processing times are key. When done correctly, your canned goods can last for over a year, delivering the fresh flavors of summer even in the dead of winter. Before refrigeration, Amish families relied on salt to preserve meat, a method they've refined over generations. This technique is simple yet effective. Generously coat the meat in salt, whether it's pork, beef, or poultry. Traditionally, the salted meat was stored in wooden boxes or hung in cool, dry cellars. The salt draws out moisture and prevents bacteria from thriving, while also enhancing the meat's flavor and texture. Even with modern refrigeration, this method remains popular for making smoked meats and jerky with unmatched depth and character. Honey isn't just a sweetener, it's also a natural preservative. In Amish kitchens, this age-old method is used to preserve summer's bounty. Simply coat fresh fruit like peaches or pears with honey and seal them in jars. Honey's unique properties create an environment hostile to bacteria, keeping the fruit fresh without refrigeration. Over time, the natural juices mix with the honey, creating a delicious syrup. The result is perfectly preserved fruit that retains its flavor and texture, bringing a taste of summer to your table year-round. If your tomatoes are refusing to ripen, try this simple trick. Place them in a brown paper bag. Arrange the tomatoes in a single layer, fold the top of the bag to close it and let them sit in a cool spot. The paper bag traps ethylene gas, produced naturally by the tomatoes, while still allowing air circulation. This speeds up the ripening process. Check daily and remove any tomatoes that are ripe or starting to spoil. In just a few days, you'll have juicy, perfectly ripened tomatoes, thanks to this practical Amish-inspired method. Struggling with sticky dough can turn baking into a chore, but a mix of flour and oil can make all the difference. Dust your work surface lightly with flour and rub a thin layer of oil on your hands or rolling pin. This dual approach keeps the dough from sticking to surfaces or tools while preserving its texture. It's a simple yet effective hack that's been a mainstay in Amish kitchens, ensuring every baking session runs smoothly. Amish kitchens have long embraced a simple yet effective method to keep pie crusts, bread doughs, and pizza bases easy to handle. The winning combination? Flour and oil. Start by sprinkling a light layer of flour on your work surface, just as you normally would. The secret lies in lightly coating your hands with oil before kneading the dough. This clever trick creates the ideal balance, allowing you to work the dough without it sticking to your hands or tools. In Amish households, where baking is often a daily ritual, this approach saves time and effort. The flour acts as a barrier against sticking, while the oil provides just enough slip for smooth handling. Whether you're shaping a rustic loaf or rolling out pizza dough, this practical method proves that the simplest solutions are often the best. Before tossing those onion peels into the trash, consider this. They're a secret weapon for making rich, flavorful broths. This waste not, want not philosophy aligns perfectly with the resourcefulness of Amish cooking. Collect onion skins, along with other vegetable scraps, in a clean jar. When it's time to make broth, simply simmer the scraps in water for a few hours. The result is a golden, aromatic base, that's perfect for soups, stews, and gravies. Amish cooks know that these often overlooked scraps hold a surprising depth of flavor and color. By using every part of the vegetable, you not only reduce waste but also elevate your dishes with a richness you can't achieve otherwise. Does your rice turn out clumpy or unevenly cooked? The solution is wonderfully simple. Give it a soak before cooking. This extra step, a staple in Amish kitchens, ensures your rice comes out fluffy and perfect every time. Soak the grains in clean water for 30 minutes to an hour before cooking. While it may seem like an unnecessary step, it's well worth the effort. Soaking begins to soften the outer layer, reduces cooking time, and helps wash away excess starch that can cause stickiness. Think of it as a spa treatment for your rice, leaving it light, airy, and ready to shine in any dish. Whether you're preparing a quick side or an elaborate meal, this mindful approach shows that a little patience can make all the difference. If you're battling a stubborn cough, skip the pharmacy aisle and try this time-honored remedy, honey and apple cider vinegar. This natural duo has been soothing throats in Amish communities for generations. Mix 1 tablespoon of honey and 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into a glass of warm water. Sip this simple concoction slowly throughout the day to enjoy its soothing effects. Honey's natural antibacterial properties help coat and calm an irritated throat, while apple cider vinegar balances pH levels and thins mucus. In Amish households, where natural remedies